We don't intend at this stage to introduce new taxes because actually the taxes we have are quite adequate. The problem, as you've said, is enforcement. Now, if you're able to get away without paying tax, majority of people will. The job of government is to make sure it is very difficult to evade tax. Now, we've already started that job with gathering data, because to tax people, you must know how much they have. When you don't have the data, then it's guesswork. So over the last year, we've been gathering data, and that's why you hear statistics like about 800 and something thousand companies that have been gathered, are registered. How was that done? They simply went to CAC and said, how many companies are active? And then check their tax records. And a circular, for example, went out recently from the Accountant General's office that anybody who has a payment to collect in federal government, we must check their tax status. So everything we're doing is driving people, forcing them into the tax net. And that's how it happens in every country. Nobody pays tax because they want to. People pay tax because they have to. So we are going to make it much, much more difficult for people to evade taxes. At every data point of government, we'll be picking up data that we're using to compare tax. So you buy a business class ticket, then suddenly someone's looking at, is this person a taxpayer anywhere? You come to government for a payment. Are you paying tax? You apply for something. Are you paying tax? That's how we are going to get better payment. Now, the other thing is there's going to be much better cooperation from the international community, and that's one of the things we've been discussing here, because a lot of money has left Nigeria. And what's happening now is that there is a focus on sharing that data. So the British make, under the Beneficial Ownership Register, which has been signed, which President signed with David Cameron before he left, the British are going to give us the list. Everybody who owns a property in the UK, once it's owned by a Nigerian, give it to us. And then we'll be able to compare. This person who owns 4 or 5 properties in the UK, how much tax are you paying in Nigeria? So it's going to be a very systematic process, using a lot of data and then using a lot of moral suasion on the people to, this is the time to do the right thing. Because that's really the only way that the country can move forward. All the countries we admire, and you know, we travel and we say, oh, look at the roads, look at the airports, they have very, very good tax systems. Nigeria has one of the worst tax to GDP ratios in the world. It's unacceptable. So we have to find a way to make our tax collection much, much more effective. And then once we've spent time, probably for the most of the rest of this year, we'll be really focused on encouraging people in. And then we need to move into name and shame, where we now, those who are not paying have to be exposed. We only have about 13 million taxpayers in Nigeria at the moment, and about 12.5 million of them are PAYE. That is those who have their taxes deducted at source. So are we saying all the wealthy, all the self-employed are only 500,000 in Nigeria? It's not possible.